Hi everyone, my name is Priyanka and welcome to my vlog. Today we are going to talk about why you need to surrender to God. Now, most of you will at least agree to this point of view that somewhere life is causing you a lot of trouble, and if you're going through some tough times, if you are facing a lot of difficulties in your life, you are looking for a way to get out of those difficulties. And it doesn't matter what kind of people you surround yourself with, it doesn't matter what kind of hard work you're doing, it doesn't matter how many hours you're putting in to make your life better, and yet you are still facing a lot of difficulties in your life because you are working from an ego state of mind. Now, this is all about your thinking, it's all about how you have been looking at things, how you've been perceiving things, and how you have been reacting to your circumstances. And this is why it's very, very essential that you start surrendering to the divine power. The moment you start surrendering to the divine, your life is going to take on a very positive turn, all about living a good life. It's not about just having finances or having great relationships or great health. It's also about having that peace of mind. And from that peace of mind, everything is going to come to you. Because right now, what's happening is that either you have some area of your life that's not working out for you, or you are finding that all the areas of your life, let's say your health, your finances, your emotional well-being, your mental well-being, everything is suffering right now. And if you're going through those sufferings, then it is time for you to leave that ego state of mind, because it's that ego state of mind that is causing all the troubles in your life. Because at the end of the day, it's everything to do with how you look at the world, how you perceive this world, how you react to this world, and how you keep on taking in a lot of negative thinking in your mind. Number one reason why you need to surrender to the divine is that you have been carrying a lot of memories from your past. Your past is haunting your present, and it's creating a lot of division in what is to come in your future. You keep on dredging that past life of yours. You will keep on dredging whatever somebody has done to you, whatever someone has said to you, and you'll keep on remembering these really sad and depressive emotions. You'll keep on feeling those emotions, you'll keep on going back into that past experience and keep on blaming yourself for going through it, or blaming others. And this is where that change has to happen, because your ego state of mind loves to be in that emotional state. It loves giving you that agony. It loves going back into that drama, into that toxic environment. And you will keep on running through a loop in your mind unless you surrender to the divine. Now, divine has an amazing power, and that power is that the divine can take away all your pain. It's just that you don't want to sit in stillness, sit in meditation and surrender. And that is the number one way in which you can surrender to the divine. That connection that you're looking for with the divine can be sought out in your own house. You can sit for 15 minutes in stillness and experience that thoughtlessness state. It's going to take a bit of while, because you are so used to this chaotic mind of yours. You're so used to overthinking that it's going to take a bit, it's going to take some time for you to overcome that hyper mind of yours, which is always in a hyper state. Your mind is always in a hyper state. It doesn't know how to shut that internal dialogue that's always reclining towards the negative areas of your life. Now, if you're carrying on too much of that negative thought process coming in from your past, you will notice that you are unable to live your life freely. Emotional states that you're feeling, anger, depression, sadness, anxiety, they are like dark clouds that keep on moving around with you. You carry these dark clouds into new relationships, you carry these dark clouds into new careers. And this is why it's time for you to let go, because you want to create a life that is of ease. So far, you've lived a life like a hunchbacked person. You've been carrying that weight on your shoulders for so long that you are now feeling that burden. You're feeling that weight is now slowly letting you sink into this madness. And if you want to overcome that madness, it is time for you to surrender to the divine, because the divine is always waiting for you to reach out. And there's a supreme consciousness and intelligence that is working out for all of us. You have experienced that inner intelligence, you have experienced divinity. Just remember some really good news in your life, remember some really good moments in your life. You have touched that divinity, but the problem is that you think that divinity is outside of you. The second point is that you're always racing against time. You are always feeling disoriented. You don't know where your time is going. The day starts with a lot of stress, and then your day ends with a lot of stress. And now days are turning into weeks, and they are turning into months and years, and everything looks monotonous. You think that your life is very boring. You think your life is full of stress, and there's nothing exciting for you to do. And that exciting life is for somebody else. You see these people on Instagram or on YouTube living a very exciting life, but when it comes to your own personal life, your life is so dull and boring because you're going through these routines, and these routines are killing you. It's not those routines that are killing you, it's the way you're looking at your life. You have been seeing your life from a boring standpoint. And it's your ego state of mind that's making fun of this life of yours that you've created. It's always telling you that, oh, you're good for nothing, you can't do anything on time, and this is your life is never going to change. These are the kind of thoughts that you keep thinking on a loop. And if you just try and surrender to the divine power, let's say you wake up one day and you tell yourself that today I am going to see everything in a different light. I am going to find joy in these small things that are of importance to me. So if my child is coming and hugging me, if my husband is smiling and laughing with me, I'm going to enjoy those moments, because so far you've been overlooking those moments. You've been living a life with a feeling of numbness. You are numb to your daily routine because you think that there is no way out of that daily routine. There is a way out. It's just that you don't want to seek that way out. You think that the only way out is creating a lot of finances, but then finances are not coming your way. And you keep on making one bad decision after the other because you have lost that inner connection with the divine spark. And if you just sit, as I said, this whole program is about you trying to sit in stillness and meditation, because that's the only way you can connect with the divine source. Because in stillness, there's a depth that is available to you, a depth of knowledge, a depth of mindfulness. There's a depth of intelligence that is going to work for you, because your decision making is so screwed up. You end up repeating the same task. You don't enjoy what you're doing. You don't have any purpose in your life. You cannot change your life track. You can do nothing except live that boring routine. You're like a hamster on a wheel that keeps on going on that wheel, thinking there is no exit. So there is always an exit through this monotonous routine. And the exit is by sitting in meditation. If you sit for 15 minutes every day waking up, you are going to find that you have this joy within you, and that nothing has changed on the outside world. Nothing has changed so far. You still have that same boss, you still have that same house that you don't want to live in, you are still driving that same old car that you want to drive in, and yet you have this sense of well-being. That is the sense of well being that you have been missing so far in this life of yours. Coming on to the third point, you being in from one bad decision to another, you don't have any anchor in place, you don't have anyone supporting you. Although you have a lot of people in your life and they do want to support you, but you still end up feeling lonely and alone. You think that nobody is able to understand you. It's because your ego state of mind is always playing that game with you, where it tells you that nobody is going to understand you. You are a nutcase, there is something wrong with you. These are the kind of thoughts you'll keep on getting. Because you don't have any connection with the inner being, what you're going to do is you're going to keep on repeating these miserable thoughts. You're going to live a miserable life. If you want to really feel supported in this life, let's say you cannot feel that support coming in from another human being, what do? You simply surrender to the divine because going to open up some really beautiful opportunities for you. You are going to feel that yes, you can live this life from a standpoint of ease and well-being because the divine has your back. Now the surrender means that you have to let go of that fear. You have to let go of that anxiety. You have to let go of all of these thoughts that you've been thinking about how the world is against you, how you are the only person who's going through these tough times. Now, let me tell you, each one of us have gone through some tough times or going through some tough times, and there is not a single person on this planet who can say that I've never gone through a tough time. I've never faced some difficulties because difficulties are part of life. It's a way to learn something new about yourself. And this is a path of self discovery. This is a path of self realization. If you keep on operating from your ego state of mind, what's going to happen is that you're going to keep on thinking these miserable thoughts about how lonely you are. So you'll keep on waiting for somebody amazing to come into your life, or you'll keep on waiting for someone to really appreciate you, validate you for who you are. But what if it doesn't happen? Aren't you going to live a life full of anxiety and stress? Because that day is in the future. But you have the present, you have you. You are an amazing creation that the divine has created. And yet you don't want to look at yourself this way. You think that you're alone and lonely. But you are a part of the divine spark. So, coming on to the fourth point, whenever you feel as if things are not working out for you and you end up losing a lot of patience because although you've worked very hard, you have put in your 100% into, let's say, a relationship or in your career, and yet you're not reaching that end goal that you wanted to reach, what are you going to do? Are you going to live from a standpoint of anxiety that, oh, I did this much and yet I'm unable to get back the results? Or are you going to surrender to the divine and wait for the divine timing to play out? Because there are times when you are unable to see the road that you've taken. What if that person is not fit for you? What if that job is not fit for you? So always trust the divine timing. There is a destiny that is waiting for you to take on. But you don't want to go on that path. You keep on making, as I said, bad decisions because you are working from an ego state of mind. You are so chaotic in your thinking. You think that everything that I'm thinking is based on logical reasoning, and yet your reasoning is coming in from feedback that you're taking in from other people. You have no self discipline. You don't know what you're doing in life. You simply just assume that if I do this, something will happen. If I do this, something will come of success. You have no plan. You have no structured thoughts. You cannot even perceive the pros and cons of the things that you're going to do in this life of yours. You simply assume that if I just work hard, something might come my way. What if it doesn't come? A car which is trying to take on a lot of directions, on a circle. So there are lots of exits on a circle, and you are that car, and you're trying to take on all the exits at the same time. Is it possible? No. So imagine this life where you can take the best decisions because you know that divine timing is working for you. And I've experienced it in my life too. I mean, I was somebody who always thought that I was making the right decisions till I came face to face with some really difficult times. And now, in hindsight, I can say with absolute clarity that I am so grateful for that divine timing. Because had I gone and said yes to those opportunities or people in my life, I would have drained myself. I would not be sitting here. I would have been somewhere else, maybe in a very miserable state. So, this is where I can tell you with absolute clarity that you must trust the divine timing is going to give you some really beautiful surprises. And we all love surprises, don't we? And we love those good surprises. So, some beautiful good surprises are going to come your way. And if you are going through some tough times, even though you cannot see the divine timing, the divine timing is always working out for you. The divine is always stopping you from making bad decisions. So you are going to face some consequences of those decisions, of course. But at the same time, you must trust that the divine has your back, the divine has a beautiful plan for you, and that God is here to help you through these tough times. Coming on to the fifth point, this ego state of mind is always going to make you feel so superior to others. You're always going to speak with an intent of putting another person down. I am this, I did this, I have been so successful in my life. And then someday you're going to feel miserable even in your success, because this is where the ego state of mind cannot put you on a stable ground. You're not on a stable ground. You might be boasting to everybody around you, and yet when you're alone, you're always feeling miserable because you are not on a stable ground. Because all the time that you have worked upon creating a successful life, you have been also working upon creating a gap between yourself and that inner intelligence, that divine spark that's right within you. And because you're not on a stable ground, although you are successful, you're not happy. And you live a life from a point of well being and ease. And that is when you tell yourself that I'm nobody. It doesn't matter what I've done, it doesn't matter what I'm going to do tomorrow. What matters is that I am having this great connection with the divine source. And once you do that, you will be overcoming all of this depressive, anxious emotions that you've been feeling till now. You are a mess, you're a hot mess. And maybe people do not see that side of you, but you see that side of you. You know what I'm talking about. You know how miserable you are. You have so much of darkness within you because you have not worked upon going on a path of light. If you seek the divine, if you sit in meditation, if you sit in stillness, you will no longer attach yourself to those results. Everybody is working hard to prove themselves, and yet they're feeling miserable because there's nothing to prove in this life. Why don't you understand? The day you die, there is nothing left of you. So it's time for you to let go of all of the success that you have achieved. It's not about letting go literally. I'm not asking you to leave the money or the success behind. I'm simply asking you to not attach yourself to that success. It's come great enough. Just enjoy living your life from a stable ground. You have to become mentally stable. Then only can you live a life that you are enjoying. You're no longer enjoying this life, you're no longer enjoying this success. And success will come and go. But what will stay with you is that connection with the supreme consciousness. Sixth point is to feel protected in this life. No matter where I am, no matter my circumstances, I'm going to live a life of gratitude. Now, surrender teaches you gratitude because you are grateful for the life that God has given you. And because you are grateful of the life that God has given you, you will never take anyone for granted. You will never take money, people, your health for granted. You're always going to work for the betterment of your own self and of others. And this is what actual surrender means. If you really want to live a life that is whole and complete, then you can live it right now. And the best way to live it is to surrender to the divine. Be grateful where you are. Because once you become grateful, you are no longer letting your ego ride through that boastful energy. Either we are boastful what we have created in this life of ours, or we're always crying and creating a lot of drama in this life of ours, telling others that, you've done this to me, God has done this to me, I'm worthless, I'm nobody. That is not the idea for nobody. The idea for nobody is that this person is no longer trying to prove a point to others. This person is no longer trying to put other people down or putting themselves down. You are so grateful for the opportunities that have come your way. Coming on to the seventh and the last point, you no longer fear anything in this life of yours. How many times have you had unnecessary fears going through this mind of yours? So let's say if you have something coming up, even as small as travel. I've seen that people have so much of fear of flying, or people have so much of fear of the unknown. So this is where your ego state of mind loves to torture you. And if you want to come out of the torture of having such unnecessary and unworthy fears, and if you really want to move away from a fear mindset, it is time for you to surrender to the divine, because the divine is always going to give you that calmness. You will no longer fear anything in this life of yours. You will no longer fear um, outcomes that you cannot see. You will no longer fear taking on new things in your life, because you know that divine has your back. You know that divine is going to support you, that divine timing is going to work for you. And so far you've always worked from a point of fear in your life. You've always feared things. You've always feared making courageous decisions. You lack that courage because you lack that support system. So everything is combined. Whatever points have spoken so far, all those 7 points corroborate to each other that yes, you need to surrender to the divine to live a life of ease and well-being. You have to move from a point of fear, from a point of anxiety, depression, and to move away from this ego state of mind that is always creating a lot of trouble in your life. Because as long as you're operating from an ego state of mind, you are living a life that is always basing itself on these emotions like I am worthless, I am nobody, I am not fit. You don't have to wait for some miracle to happen in your life. You are that miracle. Once you start believing in that, once you start surrendering to the divine, everything is going to work out for you. You just have never experienced that magic. And you can only experience that magic once you sit in stillness, when you move away from that ego state of mind, when you no longer identify with that ego state of mind. Just want to live a life that is full of ease and full of well being. So, if you love my vlog, do like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below. And thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.